This is it's so rich in history. I just came back from Egypt a few months ago, and I went to 10 pyramids. On every pyramid, we found mushroom hieroglyphics, every one of them. Now, I sent this through Graham Hancock, some of these hieroglyphs, and Egyptologists said, no, they're shovels. And Jamie, it'd be a challenge for you to find this, but and number one, shovels will be pointed down, and it's a perfect example. Well, scientists don't look at Egypt in the context of the ecosystem 4,000 years ago.
Right.
And in Africa, the plateau of running rivers, the Tesselian and Jar Plateau, has the bee-man figure. That plateau is called the plateau of running rivers. There's no mushrooms growing there. It's a desert. Same with the Nile. It was the breadbasket of the world. And the Greeks were the Eleusinian mysteries. Caesar was a lover of Cleopatra. Then Mark Antony, 20 years younger than Caesar, became a lover of Cleopatra. You would think that these people at the highest strata of society, being lovers, would share the most intimate secrets and potions and all of that. I think that happened. So we have now 2 other scientists have published this before me, that the hieroglyphs on these temples are of psilocybin mushrooms.
So those look like mushrooms.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Boy, they so look like mushrooms.
But there's better ones. Okay, now let's pause on this one. So I want to give a shout out to Abdel Azim. He published this in 2016. This is the goddess Hathor, the Dendera temple. If you look this up, it gets less than 1 millimeter of rain a year. That's how dry it is. That's a vase there with these mushroom-like figures coming out, and the lower part is the blue lotus, a water lily associated with a mushroom. Now, he published this in 2016. I'm not the only one. Stephen Berlant in 2005 published this, and a fantastic individual, African-American, who died from COVID. His name was Kindiri. And from Detroit. He also believed from his African ancestry that the African Egyptians used psilocybin mushrooms.
That image is fascinating.
Isn't it amazing?
The little vase.
The
that's
next
clear.
one you can, Jamie.
Now, what did they try to say that is? You can't say that's a bunch of shovels.
No, but there's other ones.
So what is the conventional explanation for what you're looking at?
They said they didn't know what it was. Now,
how do they not know what it is?
This is it. Hiding. It's not hiding in plain sight.
But it's not hiding. They're delusional.
It's not hiding. So
they're not willing to talk about it. Is that what it is?
Yes, exactly. This is Psilocybe cubensis on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a cultivator, and many of your listeners are cultivators, they know what I'm going to say is true. You can pick up cow patties with Psilocybe cubensis, put it into a vase, just like that. It collects, you can put water in it. It limits evaporation. The mycelium seeks light and air. So it would pop out of these orifices. And that is a taxonomically correct image, drawing of Psilocybe cubensis. And down below is the blue water lily, and there's Psilocybe cubensis. The Egyptians' royal colors were gold and blue. The blue lily, water lily, the blue lotus is blue. Psilocybe cubensis is golden. It bruises bluish. And Jamie, if you could humor me with just 2 more slides. There's the blue lotus. There's another example of the mushrooms associated with the falcon. I mean, there's dozens of these images. Look at that one on the left.
Those are so obviously mushrooms.
Not a shovel.
No.
A shovel would be upside down.
It's so obviously mushrooms.
So
but it's also like the way the cap is formed.
And the cuspidate cap, the shape of this.
Yeah,
and here is a painting on papyrus, the Temple of Osiris. It also has very similar. And this next image, I think it's the next image. No, there's bluing of Psilocybe cubensis. Again, the next one, I would have skipped this on. And, okay, I was looking for blue juice. I don't know if we have blue juice on there.
That one's wild. What is those little figurines?
Those are mushroom stones, Mesoamerican mushroom stones from Guatemala.
Wow.
And they persisted for 1500 BCE to 500 AD, 1,000 years before the conquistadors came. And they were representative, we think, of a mushroom cult. And they could have been a family like heirlooms.
How silly is that the conventional archaeologists won't acknowledge that those are mushrooms?
Well, we actually have a reward out, and this is great that I'm speaking about it. is that we have a reward of $1,000 for anyone who can find psilocybe cubensis DNA in the ruins. And because we can amplify the DNA, we can prove that they were either in the vases, in the ponds, or near the ponds and doing core samples.
Sort of like they've done with the Eleusinian mysteries with ergot.
With the ergot, yeah. Jamie, can you see the blue juice image? You don't see it? It's just it's a hand with a vessel of blue liquid in it. Two images. So more than one thing can be true. When you're looking at the Eleusinian mysteries, oh, there we go. So this is something that blew me away. Have you seen Dune 2?
I have not. I heard it's awesome.
Amazing. Frank Herbert was a friend of mine who wrote Dune. Frank Herbert lived in Port Townsend, Washington. And Frank Herbert came to visit me. And Frank told me he was growing chanterelles in Christmas trees that were just 5 years old. I go, that's impossible. I said, how are you doing that? And he goes, well, I take chanterelles and I put them into water and I pour it at the base of the trees and it comes up. So there's the blue juice. And so if you take psilocybe cubensis or any psilocybin mushroom that's potent, you put it into water, you create blue juice. And this is in Dune 2 where they drink it. And so I asked Frank, the eyes are blue. The Ben Gesserit are these shamanic women who have this high ascended cult. Is it based on Maria Sabina? I said, and maggots grow through mushrooms. And I said, everything, the spice seems like it's spores. And your blue eyes and this blue juice. And he goes, you're the first person that's noticed this.
Oh, wow.
And he said he was tripping on psilocybin mushrooms. He was laying on his deck, and he saw worms coming out of the mushrooms that he ate, the psilocybin mushrooms. And that was the dawn of the idea.
Wow.
Now, this is absolutely true. And I haven't met Frank Herbert's son. I really want to meet him to tell him this because he did say something about, I think he had two sons. My memory's foggy on this. But he said, I'm keeping this secret from my sons. And I said, why? He goes, well, they're illegal. And they're just at the age right now that I don't want them to tell other people about this.
Oh, no.